Hey, what's up, guys? This is Disaster, and welcome to another episode of Influencers on Social Media Who Are Complete Frauds. Today, we have an individual by the name of Intergalactic Operator, who boasted an impressive 27,000 followers and is a self-described GWAT trap lord. Also, depending on who you talk to, claimed to have served in the United States Army as an infantryman and private contractor with the company Triple Canopy for several years, with multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this situation, the purpose of this video is not to dox or ruin someone's life. It's simply to shed light on the gun/tactical social media culture, which include many individuals who have an incredible sphere of influence, and they're out here getting jobs as instructors, getting sponsorships, and most importantly, violating the trust of their unsuspecting students and their peers at these organizations. And also just putting out false information, most likely. Now, Intergalactic Operator is connected to numerous organizations in the Pacific Northwest, to include the Goon Operational Group and the Northwest Self-Defense Education, something like that, NWSDE, and is typically a firearms/tactics instructor. He ended up coming across my proverbial desk a few weeks ago, mostly because some of the things mentioned to the students set off some red flags to another individual who was attending the course, and we started digging after that. Up until this point, like most of these random dudes, I've never heard of this person, and much like previous members detailed on this series, cough, tactical doc, cough, the truth may be stranger than fiction. So go grab some popcorn, pour yourself a Ranger's Delight, and get ready for a roller coaster ride. So this first started with some anecdotal information being passed over social media DMs and like texts. Intergalactic Operator's claims ranged from being a infantryman to being a ranger, and even some more outlandish stuff like 7 deployments in 8 years and other goofy stuff like that. In this one, a person claims that he told them he was an Army Ranger and a contractor for Triple Canopy, along with a deployment to OEF, and how he killed some people. And in this one, someone says that he told them he was an 11 Bravo from 02 to 09, with several deployments to Afghanistan, and some stories about a squad leader dying, having 3 confirmed kills, and how he was involved in a rotary wing crash. Another one says he told them he was in for 6 years, somehow served in 3 different units, deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, and worked as a contractor overseas in unspecified locations doing security details. In a Facebook review for the company he works for, this person refers to him as a former paratrooper and private military contractor with, quote, years of experience, end quote. Being the good detective that I am, I couldn't just let that be the only source of information that I accounted for before putting out a figurative hit. So I decided to get the word straight from the horse's mouth, which is also known as I went to his Twitch and he happened to be live. Now, this is where the story starts to get a little strange. And I do something I'm not exactly proud of, because it makes me feel like one of those weird cops that sets up dudes looking for an innocent blowjob after a hard night of work from like a roadside hooker. But I digress.
Disaster, it'd be good to see another Western streamer on Twitch, dude. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Channel. We're just drifting around. Yeah, I did. And same, Afghan. Rolling the infantry boys. Fast. I mean, yeah, as you should. Well, I got to keep you alive. Oh yeah. Yeah, IEDs are a motherfucker, man. They'll fuck you up. Definitely treated some guys. Yeah, a couple guys got wounded. A couple dudes got blown up. you ever used one of the? No, not really. I mean, that was our, medic's job kind of thing. I mean, occasionally you'd have to respond pretty quickly and pretty hands-on if it's near you. Yeah, I'm like the most anti-vet that you guys will probably talk to. So I'm not like the prodigal son of enlisting and joining. What's SOF? Special Operations Forces. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go in for that, then it's just like you're already going in for the wrong reason. There's already a huge issue with that, with guys joining for the image. They go in, they go through SF, they go through Q cores, they make it on, they get put on teams, and they go to more schools, they do one deployment, and they get out, and they boast for the rest of their fucking life. So it's like, I don't know. It's more guys have been going in for the image and getting out, and then holding on to that image. So it's like, like the Army isn't cracked up to what everybody thinks it is. Like if you're gonna join in, oh, nah, yeah, I was 11B. No, we still did backflow and fucking, we still work with Rangers. We still work with with 1st and 3rd Bat. There was a lot of backflow, a lot of kind of joint ops and stuff like that going on in Iraq. Like that was my first place, first deployment was there for a short stint, and then we got relocated to Afghanistan. But if you're on but that was a different time era. I was a freshman when 9/11 happened. We were motivated differently. We had every front yard had American flags, and American flags were sold out. Like you couldn't go to the nearest grocery store or convenience store and buy an American flag. So I was like, it was definitely a different time of joining. So it was, it's definitely not like what it is today. So like if you don't really have that fucking, that full mindset of that full attitude about joining, then don't join, kind of thing. Just because that extra room that you have for doubt, it's only going to grow. A dude I was just following, that's a Green Beret, just did a post talking about how a lot of some of the 11Bs that he's met has seen more combat than Green Berets, and don't count out the grunts. Grunts go on patrols Monday through Sunday, every day, get shot at. They don't sit at base and prep for missions and execute missions with full staff, full support. Like grunts get the fucking full dose of fighting. Like our emergency air medical will fucking get called off and get reprioritized to somebody else. A different unit, a ranger battalion will request it. We'll lose priority. Same with support, same with QRF. So it's just like, if it's the same thing with like people having to go to war with swords and shields. Like, if you want to talk about battle, you have to go talk to one of the guys that carried a fucking sword and shield in the front. You can't talk to a specialized soldier. You can't talk to an archer about what battle's like when he's in the back lobbing arrows, or sitting at the catapult station because he's a specialized unit. He's not with a mechanized unit or a cavalry unit. So if you want to talk about battle, you want to talk about war, you got to go talk to the guys with the swords and shields up front. So it's same thing with fucking modern day. You want to talk battle, you got to go talk to the guys in the front. Guys that are getting fucking shot at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day. Losing friends every week, not just on fucking rare occurrences, on fluke accidents and special missions. So you know, you don't get the full assets and support that a lot of ground units do. But that part's not sexy though. The tabs and the scrolls and the special schools are what's sexy. Is repelling and explosive door breaching. That hardly ever gets used. You know, being a really good gunfighter and being a really gung ho individual sometimes doesn't get you picked on certain missions. Like they'll even pull from conventional Army 11B leader. They'll pull leader, team leads, and they'll pull them because they have cool, calm, and collective composure under gunfire, and they can take orders versus, a young and outcoming ranger that's all hype, and he's just wanting to gun everything down. But yet this is his first HVT no-shoot mission, kind of capture only, and maybe they want somebody with a little bit more fucking discretion behind the gun. So it's like, it's the dynamics of it are pretty. It can get pretty steep, especially if you're not in it. Then it becomes very face value too. Because then becomes like a thing of like who has the most tabs, who's scrolled, who went to the most schools. So it's just like I look at dudes where it's just like, well, who is busy, who's doing things. It's like going to schools is like, it's cool, but the fuck are, what's all that training and that time and effort? What did it go towards?
Clearly, he's a very experienced 11B who has lost a lot of friends in battle and wasn't in some pussy-ass specialized unit with a bunch of schools. So with all this in mind, we put in a Freedom of Information request for his records. And I also decided to hit him up in the DM so he can come clean. But, much to my dismay, he immediately blocked me, removed like 200 posts from his account, and then the next day just deleted the entire thing. So it definitely came as no surprise when we get his records back and he served for exactly 0 days, even though he possessed the holy trinity of Instagram influencer stardom. And so ends the ballad of Jason Fett, Intergalactic Operator, or whatever else he wants to call himself. In conclusion, vet your instructors if you're taking a class, no matter what type of class it might be. Be incredibly wary of organizations whose classes are mostly filled with untrained or strictly civilian students, to include the reviews you might read about the organization. Right? If it's from people who don't also have some type of affiliation with the military or police or something that actually is in that realm, just be cognizant of that. This is why people gravitate towards members of the military for instructors, because they have street cred. It's also why people lie about having these qualifications, because they know that it'll gain them street cred. Who a company trains matters because it validates the program. You have to imagine that, like, if this dude happened to be at a class where he's training a platoon of fucking Rangers or something like that, someone would immediately be like, no, that's bullshit, right? But if it's a bunch of individuals who have no experience in the stuff he's talking about, they're just gonna kind of assume that he's telling the truth, especially if he comes off as that type of person, right? So thank you for everyone sticking around till the end. Stay safe in the future, and I'll catch you on the back end.